So in this episode, we will learn the following. So we will have a discussion on and yung 8 major extension approaches na meron tayo, which I think medyo familiar na siguro kayo dyan, pero i-review pa rin natin ngayon, and contemporary approaches. Mga ilan sa mga pwedeng lumabas na connections. Kasi in agricultural extension, more on ano siya more on using or applying the methods that we have learned talaga. Hindi siya like laging parang identification type. So, kaya favorite ko ang agricultural extension. All right. Okay, now let's dive into the 8 major approaches in agricultural extension. So, kung meron kayong copy nitong 8 general approaches na to, sige, pwede kayong gumamit ng cheat sheet nyo. Ayun, so, kuha kayo siguro ng paper, tas ilista nyo dun yung 8 na major approaches in agricultural extension. Then, sasagutin natin yung mga question na susunod. So, you can pause this video if you're gonna do that. Pero let's go on with the video. Number 3 sa inyong paper. So, ano kaya to? Broad coverage, all commodities and farming activities. Meron doon. Then, focus is more on the general farm productivity and farmer education. And ang example nito, ano kaya approach to Hulaan nyo siya. Municipal agriculture offices providing advice on rice, corn, vegetables, and livestock. Okay? So, ang sagot dito ay the answer is general extension approach. General agricultural extension approach. So, ano yung dito? Ano yung key term? It's broad coverage. So, broad, general. Ayun lang yon. So, ang focus na ito is more on productivity ng buong farm. Next, number 4. Ito naman, focus on a single high value or strategic crop or livestock. Intensive research, training, and support for that commodity. So our example nito is Philippine Coconut Authority for coconut farmers and Sugar Regulatory Administration for sugarcane. So I hope that your answer is commodity specialized approach. So the key term there is single high value or strategic crop or livestock. So kaya tayo nagkaroon ng mga Philippine Coconut Authority, yung mga yan. Kasi mataas yung demand doon sa specific product na yun. So we need another like a separate what do you call this? Institute for that. Ayun. Pero I think may nagiging shift na ngayon. Hindi ko alam kung tama ba yung balita ko na parang may magmo-merge na mga agri departments. I don't know. Pero yeah, parang may nasagap ako na ganun. Okay, number 5. Ito naman, extension link to specific government or donor-funded projects. So these are time-bound, location-specific intervention. So example nito is yung DA RCEF or Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Funds under the Rice Tariffication Law. Okay, so the answer here is project approach. So the key term there is time-bound, location-specific na mga interventions. So, for example, sa project approach, for yung sa microgreens project namin, so it can be considered as a project approach. Una, because meron kaming specific timeline for that. And meron kaming specific locations na gagawin yung mga yung mga under sa methods namin. For example, meron kaming goal na sa mga high schools and universities in Laguna. Ayun. So, it can be considered as a project approach. And most of the like projects na meron sa UPLB, ayun. Kasi let's say for example, for just 6 months, dun lang sila. So, it's time-bound, location-specific. So, meron kayong specific na location na pupuntahan. So not only in crop science, but even, for example, in animal science. Example, kapag pupunta kayo sa mga different animal farms or mag-survey kayo ng different farmers ng baka, ng baboy, ng manok. Ayun. So that can fall under the project approach. So again, time-bound, location-specific. Next, this one, holistic view, integrates crops, livestock, resources, and environment, emphasizes sustainability and livelihood improvement. Ang example nito is integrated farming systems promoted in upland areas. And rice plus corn plus vegetables plus livestock or yung ating mga salt. And salt 1, salt 2, salt 3, salt 4. So ano kaya to? The answer is farming systems development approach. So the key term there is holistic view. So kapag sinabi lang nating holistic, parang sobrang lalim na English, no? Pero ano lang yan? Ibig sabihin, hindi mo lang siya tinitignan sa isang aspeto. So for example, tinitignan mo rin siya sa ganito aspect. Tinitignan mo rin siya sa ganitong aspect. So for example, kaya siya farming systems, maraming components. Meron kang crop, meron kang hayop na nandoon. Meron kang, for example, irrigation, and then rainwater harvesting system. So ayun yung isa sa mga example ng farming system approach. Na yung productivity ng farm mo, hindi lang siya base sa isang aspeto ng farm. For example, hindi lang crop or hindi lang animal. So ikaw, holistic yung pagtingin mo dun sa yung uh, sa farm mo. Ayun. So pwedeng ganun din yung atake ng agricultural extension na for example, kapag magtuturo kayo, hindi lang dapat yung extension worker mo, hindi lang for example isa yung alam nila. Ganon. So kaya in UPLB, we have the major farming systems or no, agricultural systems. Kasi hindi lang, yung mga major noon, hindi lang sila, ang mga subjects nila, hindi lang puro crop science or what. Merong crop, I think meron din silang forestry, meron silang animals, ganyan. So integrated view talaga of the farm. Ayan. So sila yung mga na-hire dito sa farming systems approach. Next, regular training of extension workers who then visit farmers on a fixed schedule, structured top-down transfer of technology. So example nito, nung nagkaroon ng Masagana 99 program, adopted in the 1970s during the World Bank funded rice projects. So ano to? Medyo nagkaroon na tayo ng konting hint kanina. Sinabi na to. Ang answer is training and visit system approach. So, again, training and visit. Training, magte-train ka ng mga extension workers. Tapos, yung mga na-train mo na extension workers, papapuntahin mo sa mga farms para ituro naman nila kung ano yung, for example, technology na natutunan nila sa training na yon. Pupunta sila sa farms para ma-empower naman yung ating mga farmers. So, ito, example ng ginamit nung Masagana 99 program. Next, ito naman, farmers contribute resources, so cash, labor, or inputs along with government support, encourages farmer ownership and sustainability. Ang example nito is yung counterpart scheme in irrigation projects, yung NIA, National Irrigation Authority, requires farmer associations to share costs for O&M. Ayun. Oh my gosh. Ano yung O&M? Wait lang. Ayun. So, ang key principle lang neto, wait lang. Ayun. So, ang key principle lang neto ay merong contribution yung farmers. So, this is me being vulnerable na hindi ko alam ang lahat ng mga bagay sa mundo. And ayun, if you've reached this video and nanonood ka talaga ng mga videos ko, always know na you can correct me sa comment section. Hindi ko inaano yan. Hindi ko sinasabing perfecto akong tao na alam ko lahat sa agriculture. Ano ako, Diyos? Yan. Ayun. Lagi ko rin yung sinasabi sa mga sa mga lectures ko throughout all throughout the Philippines na hindi ako perfect. So, hindi lahat ng bagay ay alam ko. So, NIA is National Irrigation Administration. Ayun, so ONM is Operation and Maintenance lang pala yung meaning nun. Ayun, so Operation and Maintenance. Ayan. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, merong contribution yung farmers. So, ito, ang cost sharing approach. So sa cost sharing approach, from the term itself, merong binibigay or merong kino-contribute din or may sinishare din yung farmers tas yung government. So here, farmers contribute resources. So encourages farmer ownership and sustainability. Ganon. So for example, ano ba? Hindi, sige, wag na lang. Sa ibang, ano ko na lang i-example to. Sa ibang video. Ayan, so next. Ito naman, farmers actively involved in identifying problems and solutions, empowers communities through co-decision making. Example nito are yung, grabe naman sa pagkakonyo yan, ay yung mga farmer field schools on integrated pest management. So ano kaya ito? So siguro umuunti na yung nasa cheat sheet nyo. So ito yung participatory or the bottom-up approach. So here, farmers are actively involved. So ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina that during the 1980s to 2000s, mas nagkaroon ng participatory approach all throughout the world and sa Philippines nakita rin natin yon na ngayon, yung mga farmers na yung mas involved doon sa kanilang sa farming, ganyan. So nagkakaroon na ng co-decision making na hindi na lang isa-isa or hindi na lang parang top-down na lahat ng tao nakatingin dun sa extension worker or sa agent or sa what do you call this, sa expert. Hindi na lang sila nakatingin dun ngayon. They are solving problems together. So ito yung tinatawag natin na participatory or the bottom-up approach. And lastly, ito naman yung extension through activities through universities, colleges, and research institutes. So uses academic resources to serve farming communities. And example nito, yung UPLB, may mga extension program siya towards other communities in the Philippines. And other SUCs, meron din tayo from different, what do you call this, stations and state universities na nagko-conduct din syempre ng trainings, demo farms, and community outreach. Ayan. So dito na rin pwedeng pumasok actually yung sa microgreens project namin since under UPLB rin naman kami. So dito yung educational institution approach. So unang-una sa lahat, mas pagkakatiwalaan itong approach na to, mas pagkakatiwalaan siya ng mga constituents or ng mga clients, kumbaga, kasi galing siya sa isang university or sa isang college. So it means heavily na informed yung mga tao na magtuturo sa inyo, parang ganun. Ayun. So ang example din nato is yung isa sa extension programs namin, which is yung microgreens project. Yeah. Okay, now, we also have contemporary extension approaches. So kapag sinabi lang natin contemporary, ano yan, contemporary dance, ganyan. And then kapag sinabi natin contemporary, makabago. Ayun lang yung meaning niyan. So makabagong approach sa extension. So we have the farmer-to-farmer approach. Lalo na ngayon, with the advent of technology, I am part of a lot of groups actually on social media, not only here in the Philippines, but also abroad, na meron na tayong tinatawag na farmer-to-farmer approach wherein yung mga farmers, nag-share sila ng experiences nila sa social media, sa Facebook, kanyan. Then natututo sila doon sa shared experiences doon na parang ito yung naging problema ko, ano kaya to? Tapos merong magko-comment ng mga farmers na okay, naging problema ko rin yan. Ganito yung possible na solution, something like that. I don't actually know if these are actually included na sa curriculum, itong mga terms ng mga contemporary approach, kung included na talaga siya sa curriculum ng agricultural extension anywhere, or kung ako lang ba yung nag-ano nito. Pero yeah, these are some of the approaches na meron na. Internationally and even in the Philippines, hindi lang siguro natin nilalagyan ng like term mismo. Another one is the ICT-based or the digital extension approach. So from the term itself, digital, it uses digital tools like mobile apps, SMS, social media, e-learning. Some of the since I also did some research on extension, like ano ba yun? Or hindi siya actually research, proposals. Uh, on extension, ayan. Kasi we're also securing for funding sana, pero hindi pa namin nagkukuha yon for the project. So it needs review of related literature. And during that review of related literature that I conducted, dun sa mga studies na, sa mga projects na yon, na sa ibang bansa, gumagamit sila ng SMS and even yung mobile apps for the farmers. So kumbaga, for example, sa India ko yata nabasa tong article na to, na gumagamit yung mga farmers ng WhatsApp, ayan, para, wow, social sila naka-WhatsApp yung mga farmers nila para ano ng data on farming or kaya may mga training sila, WhatsApp yung ginagamit nila and other social media platforms. Yan. So, this expands access to timely farm information. For example, mayroong outbreak ng ganitong klaseng disease, blah, blah, blah. So, ayun. Through social media, through mobile apps, SMS, and e-learning, meron yung mga yan. So, here in the Philippines, we have the DA's eKadiwa app. So, I don't know if you have already heard of this application. We also have the Philrise Tech Center and online webinars by ATI. Actually, ayun din yung maganda ngayon in the age of social media. Most of the informations, walang ganong term, information ay nasa social media na. For example, may outbreak ng swine flu, nandun na agad. So, kakaroon na ng warning agad-agad. We also have the public-private partnership and extension. This means the collaboration between government and private sector and the farmers. So it brings in resources, technology, and market linkages. So example nito, yung Nestle Philippines, they are partnering with DA for sustainable coffee farming. So that's one. Another one is the Jollibee Group Foundation's Farmer Entrepreneurship Program. One of my friends, who was also awarded as one of Forbes Asia's 30 under 30. Ayan, si Anna Swabenko. So, merong time dati na nakipag-partner sa kanya yung Jollibee kasi she owns uh, educational platform for hydroponics. So, nakipag-partner sa kanya yung Jollibee. I don't know kung ano yung specific na ginawa niya, pero pumunta siya sa farm nila, tas feeling ko nag-immerse siya with the farmers then kung saan yung source ng mga supply ng Jollibee. Ano bang kinukuha ng Jollibee? For example, yung sa burger nila, yung kamatis, lettuce, ganun siguro. Ayan. So, ayun yung isa sa example ng public-private partnership and extension. And, yeah. And of course, we have NGO-led and community-based extension models. So, of course, NGO ngayon, marami ng NGOs and cooperatives actually. So grassroots training. So these are somehow voluntary, either ginagawa lang nila or even local organizations from the universities. Example sa UPLB, a lot of organizations actually like academic orgs are what do you call this? Are leading different programs and projects then na nagfo-focus on, for example, agriculture. Ganyan. So, tinuturuan nila yung mga bata na magtanim o kaya yung mga mothers, etc. So, ayun, NGO-led and community-based extension models. So, often focused on marginalized or hard-to-reach communities. I was a part of, like, I think 2 or 3 na different projects ng mga BS Nutrition sa UPLB. So they invited me as one of their keynote speakers. So ang parang ginagawa nila doon is pupunta sila, like tumitira sila sa mismong barangay. Tapos doon sila nag-empower sila ng mga mothers, solo parents, like even senior citizens, nag-empower sila towards like gardening practices or healthy nutrition, healthy living, yung mga yon. So, community-based or NGO-led extension models. And, ayan, example nito, yung Masipag, which is a farmer-scientist partnerships promoting organic and farmer-bred rice varieties. So, ayun. I think makakaisip pa kayo ng more examples on this in your own local communities. Yun. Although I was able to meet several people now from all over the Philippines, hindi pa ako nakaka-immerse directly sa paano yung mga universities na yun when it comes to their extension. So, I think one of the best ways for you to learn extension and at the same time study extension is by looking at your university. Ano ba yung ginagawa ng university nyo sa extension? Uh, paano kayo nagta-translate ng knowledge or nagbibigay ng knowledge sa ibang sa farmers or sa mga communities. So you can also check on that and pwede nyo tingnan, okay, ano kayang approach yung ginamit ng university namin dito sa project na to or what? Ayan, meron pa pala. And lastly, since we are ano tawag dito, evolving as what do you call this as a society, and we are acknowledging inclusivity, and we are also campaigning for that. Meron na rin mga gender sensitive and inclusive extension approaches. So this ensures women, youth, and marginalized groups are included, which is very vital in this society. Actually, dapat dati pa talaga tong mga to. So example nito, yung DA, and not only in DA, but even in government offices, meron ng gender and development ng mga programs. Ayan. And supporting women led agri enterprises. So this is not only applicable in the Philippines. Actually, yung sinasabi ko ring friend kanina, si Anna, she was able to secure a fund, like a crowdsourcing fund in Australia through a program called Lift Women Organization, I guess. Basta Lift Women yung program na yon. So they are empowering women-led organizations all over the world, I guess. Kaya sobrang bilib ako kay Bea kay Ana. Ana kasi yung screen name niya, ayun. So, ayun, there are a lot of things na nasakop na rin ng agriculture, and even gender sensitivity and inclusivity is part of that. And yeah, that's it for this video on the overview of theoretical and practical frameworks in agricultural extension. The next video will be on extension teaching methods, and I hope that you hop on that after this video kasi connected talaga siya. And I will be recording that after this. If you are new here, can you please subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to be updated whenever Yabong Pilipinas is uploading videos. As of this moment, 2026, today is like January 2026, nag-upload ako ng video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And para lang matapos na lahat ng coverage ng licensure at mailagay na siya 6 months bago yung mag-LEA. So para merong free resource na available sa YouTube. And yeah, if you have a friend na magti-take din ng licensure exams with you, kindly share this video to them para parehas kayong pumasa ng LEA. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions ng content, you can just comment it down sa comment section para makagawa ako ng video on that whenever you need it. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Together, let's pass. Together talaga. I will be with you sa journey mo towards LEA. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening sa video na to. Bye.